team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
The Southern Pecan Cake from Beatrice Bakery. They don't just let you call anything Southern, especially when it's baked right here in Nebraska. But there are standards you have to meet, like a rich, decadent, moist caramel cake? Check. Bursting with too many large pecans to count? Check. Big enough to share with the whole group? Check. But delicious enough that you won't want to share? A big check on that one. The Southern Pecan Cake, the newest cake to the Beatrice Bakery lineup. Try it for yourself at Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, some patchy fog expected this morning, and we'll see mainly cloudy skies for the rest of the day. Afternoon high should top out around 35. Tonight, mainly cloudy skies with a low around 23. And tomorrow, mostly sunny skies return. We'll see a high around 37. I'm meteorologist Kyle Clicker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Thursday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick Sainert, Rico with you. What's up, Rico?
Killer.
How's the day?
So far, so good.
Good. Pretty chill. Yeah.
It's nice.
It's cool outside.
I have not gone outside since I got here this morning.
It's pretty chilly.
I don't intend to go outside until I leave.
It's pretty chilly. Nonetheless, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline and the Starter Heyman text line, both of those open for you guys the entire show today, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. Huge thanks to Empire Fence and Netting for their support of the show, as always. And also, like I said, Starter Heyman Jewelers and live video stream, text line, Honda Lincoln hotline, all those avenues for you to get in touch with the show. We're going to start talking with a little Husker basketball. And just 10 seconds before the show, before we came on air, there's some breaking news in the rest of the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah.
That involves a pretty key player for a fellow Big Ten program, the Illinois Fighting Illini. So we'll touch on that here in just a few minutes as well. And then in addition to that, we'll talk transfer portal because Nebraska, obviously, we know, we talked about it yesterday, hosting a couple of guys on the weekend of January 5th, a running back and a wide receiver. But what about some of the other top uncommitted players in the country? And not that Nebraska is necessarily involved with those guys, but the guys like Will Howard and DJ Uiagalelei, you're starting to hear now that their thought process, as they've been in the portal for weeks now, without a home to be exact, they're going to be considering the NFL as a possible landing spot, that they're going to go to the NFL. And it goes back to this old thought of like, you go into the portal, you expect to be a hot commodity, and maybe you're getting interest, but not in the NIL dollars that you thought you're deserving of, maybe not the landing spots that you want to go to. There's a lot that goes into this that maybe they're not getting the best advice to go into the portal, right? Like a guy like Malachi Nelson right now is kind of mind-boggling on what you're doing.
Should not have left.
Should not have left USC.
Should not have left.
Right? The job was yours unless they brought in a transfer portal guy. But still, as Dante Moore has pointed out, with a correct plan, Dante Moore got humbled at UCLA. Now he figures out, hey, you know what? Maybe I'm not ready to start. Maybe I need to be an understudy to somebody for just one season, and realize that, hey, I'm an injury away from being the quarterback. I can still collect my NIL check if you're into that. And you know what? As a team, we're going to compete for a conference and national title. So Dante Moore goes to Oregon, where he's going to be beneath and learning from Dylan Gabriel, who was probably one of the best transfer portal quarterbacks available at any point in time this offseason.
That was a weird transfer, though.
So when you look at now guys like a Malachi Nelson, or in a different person's case, in a different situation, the Will Howards and the DJ Uiagalelei's of the world, hey,
guys
you know
who
what?
have that option to declare for the NFL.
Well, it's
draft.
either draft or you had a pretty good spot, but you chose to leave. That's the situation. DJ's is a little different.
Yeah.
Cam Ward's is, I mean, you're moving from the Washington State and the Oregon States to where I want to play in major conference Power 5 football, to where I actually have a chance to play for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
Mountain West, you're probably not going to be have a great opportunity.
With those two, it makes a little bit more sense, especially with DJ. It makes a little bit more sense because DJ's coach left.
Yep.
Like his coach left, a bunch of the other coaches left, and some other players were transferring. It was not going to be the same team. So in that aspect, that his makes sense. For Cam Ward, it makes sense because Washington State doesn't have a conference. They don't have, I don't even know what their schedule looks like, who they're going to be playing. It's just in Mountain West. But like, again, if you want to play, big boy football, you're not really going to be playing big boy football in the Mountain West. You're still going to get noticed, obviously, because if you can play, the next level is going to find you. But for somebody who went from Incarnate Word to Washington State, he was looking for a bigger avenue,
just a step up
to get his play across and to let people know, like, hey, I'm good at this quarterback thing. I'm good at this football thing. Look at me. I can make a difference at the next level. So it makes sense for those two in that aspect. But like you mentioned, a Malachi Nelson and kind of Will Howard, it doesn't make much sense because, look, you were the starter for Kansas State. You were still going to be the starter for Kansas State. I don't think that is he going to be like a redshirt freshman?
So now Avery Johnson's going to get, we're actually going to get our first glance at Avery Johnson tonight. He's going to play in the bowl game. He's starting the bowl game for Kansas State up against NC State later this evening. So we're going to get our first look at Avery Johnson. However, Colin Klein, the offensive coordinator, is going to move on. He's going to slide into Texas A&M as their offensive coordinator. But I think you look at just multiple places around the country, and sometimes you wonder about bad advice, and you wonder, all right, does this guy have a plan? Does he think he's going to be more of an attraction to maybe the high-level universities than he actually is? So we're going to talk about that here in the next segment. We don't want to dive too deep into that. First, let's talk just Big Ten conference news in terms of men's basketball, because Nebraska is getting ready to resume their season after a short Christmas break tomorrow night against South Carolina State. Nebraska will face Illinois down the road. Well, Illinois will, for the foreseeable future, and I would assume for the rest of the season, going to be without Terrence Shannon Jr. Terrence Shannon Jr., you might remember him. He was a guy that was getting NBA looks last year at the end. He thought about declaring. I think he tested the waters, if I remember correctly. He lit Pinnacle Bank Arena on fire from beyond the arc last year in their game against Nebraska. And as a senior this year, averaging 22 points a game, averaging 5 rebounds and 3 assists, he is now suspended indefinitely from an incident. He is now charged actually with rape from the University of Kansas. He was at the Illinois versus Kansas football game earlier this fall. The alleged incident happened. A warrant was issued for his arrest. He went to Lawrence, turned himself in, posted bail, and he's on his way back to Champaign. He's now ruled ineligible effective immediately. He's suspended effective immediately from the Illinois basketball team. Illinois 9-2 this year. They're a top 15 program in the country. They've had a couple of nice wins, but Terrence Shannon Jr. coming off of a 33-point performance against Florida Atlantic is now suspended indefinitely. That's a big, big loss for Illinois. Rightfully so, suspended for the foreseeable future. But yeah, Nebraska fans might remember him. He was a guy that came in, lit up Pinnacle Bank Arena. I believe he broke a record for how many made threes from an individual player. I think he had 8 or 9 made threes in last year's game against the Huskers. So Terrence Shannon Jr. is not going to be with the Illinois basketball team for the foreseeable future. So there's a little bit of a Big Ten conference basketball news. In Nebraska specific news, however, you had Robin Washut of On3 reach out to Fred Hoiberg yesterday and just kind of confirm, hey, is everybody back on campus? They are, and that includes Ramel Lloyd Jr., who's been at, obviously there's been thoughts and curiosities of where is Ramel Lloyd Jr., this 4-star guard out of Sierra Canyon High School. Why aren't we seeing Ramel Lloyd Jr.? And the only explanation Fred Hoiberg gave Robin Washut, once again of On3 yesterday, was that, hey, he's got an ankle injury that prevented him from traveling to Kansas State. That kept him out against the game in the game against North Dakota as well. He's going to be available Friday. Does that mean Ramel Lloyd Jr. makes his Huskers debut on Friday? We shall see.
No idea.
We haven't seen Ramel Lloyd Jr. in a Huskers uniform yet.
Even with some of the injuries and some of the people who have been sitting out for various reasons, we still have yet to see Ramel Lloyd Jr. take the court in a Huskers uniform in a regular season game.
Well, and I'll be honest, Nebraska's guard play hasn't been anything to write home about.
No, it would make sense. I mean, look, this isn't taking anything away from Jamarcus Lawrence. To me, I don't think he's a true 1. I think he'd be much better at the 2.
You're talking Jamarcus.
Jamarcus, yes. I don't think he's a true 1. I think he'd be better at the 2. And I think with somebody who can run the show, and again, a person with length and height, I think Ramel would be able to slide into that. And again, maybe you're not going to ask him to score as much as maybe you asked Jamarcus to score, but just somebody who has the experience running the show with other players who are highly rated. I mean, the team that he was on at Sierra Canyon had 4 Division I basketball players. I mean, he's so somebody who might be able to do that. And again, we haven't seen him, so we're not sure if he'd be able to. But I think that with how Nebraska's guard play has gone and how it hasn't been terrible, but it hasn't been, lighting the world on fire, it couldn't hurt to see him in your last non-conference game.
It would be interesting because I would agree with you in the fact that Jamarcus in years, this season specifically, he's better off ball in the catch and shoot kind of game rather than trying to be a shot creator. I personally think
getting going to the basket and then having the ball passed to him as opposed to trying to break someone down and drive past them. I think Jamarcus would do much better.
We saw it last year.
Yeah.
We know Jamarcus can shoot and he was good as the 2 guard last year for Nebraska basketball was Jamarcus Lawrence. But here he is, he's had to kind of slide into this number 1 or the number 1 position as the 1 guard, I should say, because of Aaron Eulis' situation, because Nebraska doesn't have a Sam Griesel, because for whatever reason with Ramel Lloyd Jr. So you look at Nebraska basketball, right? Ramel Lloyd, 6'6", has good size for a point guard, maybe more of a true point guard, but he can also create a shot. He can shoot from what we've heard. And frankly, we've seen film from practices and such to where we've been able to see, okay, yeah, you know what? He's he's there. He's active.
Yep.
He's present in that conversation with Nebraska men's basketball. So what's the holdup? Why isn't Ramel Lloyd Jr. seeing the floor? We will never be able to know the full truth. Hopefully we see him tomorrow, South Carolina State, because that's an opportunity. Once again, South Carolina State 4-10 overall. Nebraska obviously comes in at 10-2 with a 10-2 record. You hope that one's put away by halftime. You hope that that's a pretty smooth second half where you can maybe see more of Eli Rice. You can see, guys like Matar. You can see guys like Ramel Lloyd Jr. There were reasons why they redshirted last year.
Yeah, there's no reason for him not to get any playing time in a possible blowout or in some of the games earlier in the season where Nebraska had the game well in hand, because you can't redshirt him again. There's no second redshirt for him.
Yeah, so I mean, and last year it made sense, I think, to redshirt. You remember you had guards like Denham Dawson on this team. Obviously, Sam Griesel. Casey came out of the shell a little bit more. You had Emmanuel Bandamel. You had Juwan Gary, who was playing more of a forward because you had Derek Walker down low. Mm-hmm. Like you didn't necessarily need Ramel to be a point guard last year. It was it made sense for all parties involved to redshirt.
Yeah.
And there was value in that. Why? Because now he was able to bulk up during the off season, we'll get in the lab, work on his shot, improve his shot. And now here he is ready to go. And it's been disappointing, I think, because there was such high expectations. Nebraska has struggled for years. And this may be, if you want to take away the Sam Griesel year, Nebraska has struggled for years to find a true point guard. They then are able to get what you would think is Ramel Lloyd Jr., who is a true point guard. That's what he's been advertised as. And now, through 12 games of a season, when he's been available for at least 8 of them, and you've had this smooth, easy cakewalk of a non-conference schedule, if you will, where it's been simple, kind of like a plane on a runway, and you're slowly, getting to playing better opponents, then, man, you would have liked to see him against a Ryder. You would have liked to see him against a Lindenwood. I mean, he was available.
Yeah, and in some of those games where Nebraska maybe not well in hand, but had the game in hand with more than a few minutes left to go, those are the games where if you want to say that you don't want to start him or you don't want to play him because you haven't seen him in action in a game situation, well, guess what? There's your game situation.
Yeah.
There's a situation where you can get him in there, get him on the court, and let him experience the crowd at PBA. Let him experience going against a team that isn't his own teammates. Like, there were opportunities for Nebraska when he wasn't on the injury report for him to get in a game and for Fred to kind of evaluate where he was, if he was ready to play more this season or not. And they haven't used those opportunities. And frankly, we won't know why.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out. When we come back, let's dive into the transfer portal, as obviously guys like Will Howard, Cam Ward haven't made a decision. Obviously, there's some other interesting names out there, bigger names out there that maybe we haven't thought about, and we forgot even entered the transfer portal. KJ Jefferson from Arkansas, right? Let's talk about transfer portal, why they're still just kind of floating around in the blank space that is the transfer portal. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that coming up next. You're listening to the Happy Hour. Huge thanks to Empire Fence and Netting. Oh, we can't take a break quite yet.
No,
because there's a New Year's Eve party that we have to discuss.
What?
New Year's Eve party at the Post Bar in Lincoln, 20th and N Street, Telegraph District. Say farewell, say so long to 2023, say what's up 2024 with an incredible lineup of live music, delicious food, and refreshing drinks. You can search the Post Lincoln on Facebook to buy your tickets today. Ticket prices include a midnight champagne toast, food and appetizers, as well as prizes throughout the night. It's the Let's Give 2024 a Shot New Year's Eve party at the Post Bar. Get your tickets online once again by searching the Post Lincoln, and that's located at 20th and N Street. It's a really sweet space. So yeah, huge thanks to the Post for letting us come on down there. Jay Foreman and I enjoyed a beverage down there a couple weeks ago. Great spot. Speaking of Jay, he's going to join us for this next conversation. He's waiting in the wings, and we'll break down the transfer portal with him coming up next on Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
New year, new career. The new year is just around the corner. Why not start it off strong with a new career? General Excavating is looking for qualified underground utility project managers. Check out our website, generalexcavating.com, or call 402-467-1627 for more information. Happy holidays from General Excavating.
Ready to upgrade your combine with new technology to make your harvest more efficient, meaning more money in your pocket? The team at Landmark Implement is here to help find the right combine for harvest. Plus, when you purchase a pre-owned combine from Landmark, you are backed by Landmark's extensive parts and service network, along with mobile techs and parts drop-off points to keep you up and running, reducing downtime. View inventory online at landmarkimp.com or stop by your local Landmark to experience the Landmark difference.
Gray Diesel and Equipment Services is your go-to place in Lincoln for repairs and maintenance for diesel pickups to Class 8 over-the-road trucks and trailers, from bumper pole utility to full-size semi. Gray performs DOT inspections and are a service provider for fleet companies like ARI, Element Fleet, and FleetNet. They're a family-owned business in operation since 1952, and they keep a clean, friendly shop. Customer service is their top priority. Give Gray Diesel and Equipment Services a visit today, with easy access just off I-80 and North 56th Street.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Hi, my name is Molly Party. I'm a realtor with MP Dodge Real Estate. I'm a newly licensed agent and considered numerous brokerages before deciding on MP Dodge. I chose the company that gives me the most support in my new career, plus guidance and encouragement along the way. MP Dodge has a unique mentoring program for new agents. It's helped jumpstart my career and has a supportive management team and administrative staff. So if you're contemplating a career in real estate, look no further than MP Dodge. It will be the best decision you make.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock with A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. If you're looking for an automotive repair facility you can genuinely trust, we would be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business repairing your vehicle. We have ASE master technicians and qualified to work on a variety of vehicles from Hondas to Porsches, Jaguars to Toyotas, and Chevrolets to Fords. We pride ourselves on customer service and relationships, and we would be grateful for the opportunity to serve you. Give us a call at 402-477-4660. A1 Automotive, always honest answers.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With gold-class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered, whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com, and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Don't be surprised if your kids seem bored when they have some time off from school. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. While kids may not miss the confinement of the classroom, they may miss the routine of the school day. Help them add some structure to those free days by planning special projects. Rearrange a bedroom, plan a family meal, increase that batting average, and keep it fun.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Rosie Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick, Rico, and now Jay Foreman with you. What's up, Jay?
What's up, fellas?
How we doing?
Doing all right. I'm doing great.
Staying warm out there, my man?
No, it's cold. It's brisk out there.
It is. It doesn't look
Yeah.
bad.
But it's cold, though.
I made a walk to a local lunch establishment today.
Where'd you go?
Thank you for the lunch.
I haven't picked him up lunch. We had wings.
Okay.
Nothing crazy.
And you walked?
I walked.
You did.
Man,
It was chilly.
Yeah, it did.
I got to the theater and I go, dang, I should have taken my car.
This was a bad idea.
Rookie move.
Yeah.
It's one
I
of
know.
those where you think
Well,
it's closer
I
than
didn't,
it actually
I
is.
didn't have Jay Foreman to drive me. So
All right.
there it is. Anyway, Jay's here. He's going to talk a little transfer portal with us because as we are getting towards National Signing Day, early National Signing Day has come and gone. Obviously, transfers are starting to find landing spots, especially the ones that entered the portal right off the bat. A couple of them haven't, though. And we want your guys' thoughts on this, 402-464-5685. But you have guys like Will Howard. You have guys like Malachi Nelson, who has multiple years left. Dante Moore has already made his decision, right? Cam Ward also is in this boat. DJ Uiagalelei is also in this boat. A lot of these guys are looking at the same schools. USC and Florida State are both in the running for DJ and
Cam Ward. Right?
Cam Ward.
Yeah.
While
Cam Ward also has Miami.
yeah,
Mhm.
while Will Howard is USC, Ohio State came out of nowhere. I saw Pete Nakos, who's been on the show before, of On 3 reported that one, or NFL. A lot of these guys are now, you're starting to hear, oh, they're thinking about going to the NFL. They're waiting on reports to assess whether or not they should go to the NFL.
Mhm.
Jay, Will Howard's not your top 2-round draft pick.
No.
Neither is Cam Ward at this point.
Mm-mm.
Why are we now hearing all of a sudden, hey, the NFL is a possibility for some of these guys? Is it because, hey, maybe they didn't get the suitors, the amount of suitors that they thought they were going to be worth?
I think they initially did, because I think, Will Howard, Nebraska, I think had to be some sort of interest there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was way before, Dylan Raiola kind of really started to pick up legitimate traction. So it was Will Howard was one of the essentially first people I think Nebraska might have had some interest there. I don't know if it's mutual or whatever, but he had all other interests, and USC came. And then you think of Cam Ward, Ohio State was there. I think that really had part of the reason why McCord left, because initially he felt like he was lied to about if they were reaching out to other veteran quarterbacks in the transfer portal. Malachi Nelson is fairly new, because it just was announced kind of, 2 or 3 days, ago.
Mm-hmm.
And and he's interesting because he has 4 years left. So that's a guy that if you bring him in, you're like, okay, we can see some growth. And so what guys are running into is twofold here, Nick, right? Whereas Will Howard, you got 1 year left. Cam Ward, you got 1 year left. And it's kind of like when Matt Rule says you like transfers with at least 2 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just a hired gun, they're gone, right? We've seen that, right?
Well, you've also seen it. Sorry to cut you off. You've also seen it where that's profitable for a university because Bo Nix, if he's that Oregon for 1 year, they don't have the year they had this year.
No.
Same with I'm trying to blank Washington and Michael Penix.
Right.
They don't have that year if Penix is only there for 1 year.
Right, because it's an adjustment period. Now, here's on the flip side, what you're starting to see, and this is where DJ Moore was very, very smart, right? Where I think when he got in front of the Oregon coaches, he was okay with, we know Dylan Gabriel. He probably even said, I learned a lot. Yeah. I have some deficiencies. Well, Malachi Nelson, it also could work against you. You have too many years. So, and here's why. If you are going to, or you're trying to go to a program and you have 4 years left, there's two things. Do we want to build your program around you for at least 2 to 3 years? It might be like, well, we don't know about that, right? Because they're probably hearing some things out of USC, maybe not as good as he thinks he is, or first thought.
Yeah.
Right? Or number two, you have so many years. Will you have a good year and then go again?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So now it's almost like you have to have that perfect amount of years and you have to strike when the iron's hot. Will Howard, Cam Ward, I have no idea what you're doing. The longer you wait, the less money there's going to be. Because now the advantage goes to Miami and Florida State. Now, reason why they can recruit guys, right? So then you're going, okay, now we can recruit or negotiate against you. And then the Florida State case, right? You got, was it Tate Toddmeyer came out? What's his name?
Tate Rodemaker.
Tate Rodemaker. He has some experience. So he's another guy in there. And he shows a lot, and he shows some potential. So more guys, it's always supply and demand. It's no different why you see some guys turn early and you're like, oh, he probably is not ready for the league. Well, his agent or potential agent did a really good job of taking the landscape of the potential draftees and it's like, listen, 10 teams need a corner. There's 6 of you guys. You going earlier than you expect. You see it all the time in the draft.
Yeah.
Why do guys usually drop? Take a failed drug test or huge character issues out of it. Why do guys drop? Supply and demand. The demand is a little bit lower. Supply is huge. So that's what they're facing. And the long Will Howard, I look every day just to see what names pop in there. He says that the crystal ball is 100% to USC. Why haven't you committed?
Yeah.
What are you waiting on? Now you're trying to go to Ohio State? Well, okay, Cam Ward, why aren't you going to Ohio State?
Yeah.
McCord's gone, right? So if there is ever a chance that you have, I guess, a strength over Ryan Day in Ohio State, it would be because, okay, they didn't get anybody that they initially thought. Or this, Ohio State is having you in a waiting pattern to see what Brown does in his start.
Yeah.
Right? So, because if he does well, okay, then you lose more money.
Yep.
So the best time for Cam Ward to go to Ohio State was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Desperation. Ryan Day needed to appease the masses at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
That's
now it's all gone because we haven't talked about it anymore.
That's what I was just go ahead, Rico.
I was say, could it have been something with these guys where maybe they thought that if they held out, they could get more money, where they're sitting there and they're like, I'm going to enter the portal, and you have all of these suitors. Like you said, they had all these suitors right away, and they thought, okay, everybody wants me. I'm going to wait a little bit to see, like, maybe this will, with me sitting here and not making a decision. They're like, no, we really, we'll up the price a little bit. And now it's coming back to bite them in the butt, where they've waited so long that these teams are like, okay, this guy's maybe not serious about coming here. Let's go get this guy. Let's go get this guy. And some teams somehow convince their other quarterbacks to stay. Like, or it's just the waiting too long.
Simply put, it wasn't a bidding war. It didn't turn into a bidding war. And that's the
dumbest thing to try to do, because if you're really worried about your career, obviously the business is going to handle itself, but ultimately you should know where you want to go. You should have your list. And I learned this when I was just getting into scouting. And I always tell the stories, like sometimes, coaches get jobs and they get brand new and they forget where they came from. But the one thing that I was told is like, you just don't want to be on the list. You want to be at the top of the list. Cam Ward had an opportunity to go in there and be at least be committed. Now, look, Ohio State, you could commit to Ohio State and then Brown start looking good because he had some favorable reports of some of the receivers. He gives them a little bit more of an RPO option. Well, then you sat on it. The calls aren't probably being returned. The texts are probably not getting because I guarantee you, when they first reached out to Cam Ward, every time he texts, I'm telling you, he was getting within a minute.
Immediately.
Now it's a day or two. We'll get back to you. So then that lets you know the money hasn't dried up, but it's not what you thought it was. And also what you have to be careful of as a player, and this is where they can get, I wouldn't say duped, but led astray by their agents. When you're so fixated on the NIL, and especially when you only have 1 year left, you start to wait, can he really be this good? Is he going to be that much more than McCord? Is he really worth it? Can we get by with Brown and upgrade everything else? And then also you got to think in Ohio State's case, at the beginning, the rumors was that they were going to lose like all 22 of their starters, offense and defense. Well, then you start to hear guys come back. Henderson came back. So a couple linemen came back. So now they're starting, okay, now we're kind of reloading.
Yeah.
Now the quarterback position is now Cam Ward from afar, if he's looking at Ohio State, same with Will Howard. Maybe even, I guess, I doubt Malachi Nelson because they just got air.
Yep.
Now their situation is predicated on Brown, the quarterback from Ohio State that's going to get the start in the bowl game, how well he does. If he does well, you better pick up that phone and start talking about go Knowles. Or you better say, I'm McCain. You better work real quick. And it better be at halftime. If he comes out in that first half and does well, you better be reaching out to immediately. And have it, you know how you can do a text and have it, don't push the, just don't return any more text and you can save it.
Just have it wait on there. I feel like any of those quarterbacks should have been looking at Florida State as soon as Tate Rodemaker entered into the portal and was just like, yeah, I didn't, they were recruiting over me. They're bringing in transfer guys. So I didn't think I was going to, I feel like that's when you strike as a Cam Ward or Will Howard, like, oh, your backup left. Like, I'll be your dude next year.
Right.
I'll be so you don't have to. I think they have one scholarship quarterback on their roster right now.
He's about to start.
Yeah, about to play against Georgia.
Against Georgia.
Now, two instances that I thought quarterbacks really did well, and I guess two. And one of those was Dante Moore.
Phenomenal.
I thought Oregon did as well as anybody in the quarterback transfer portal market. They go out, they assess next year's needs in the form of Dylan Gabriel, who has just 1 year remaining, where they're going to be able to compete at a high level with Dylan Gabriel next year. But then they also got their quarterback of the future in Dante Moore. Dante Moore got humbled at UCLA. He had 11 touchdowns, 9 picks, didn't take care of the football. UCLA was fine at the quarterback position, enters the portal, realizes, hey, I need to learn. Like, right. I need to figure out more about this quarterback position. So he's willing to do that behind Dylan Gabriel. So that's one. Number two is Malik Murphy from Texas. Malik Murphy entered the portal on December 14th, I believe it was. He made a decision 3 days before Christmas on the 22nd where he was going to school. He's ended up going to Duke. He narrowed it down to like 3 or 4 schools within days, took a visit to every single one, and then immediately committed.
Right.
Malik Murphy was in a really tough situation because he was sandwiched between Quinn Ewers, who you knew was going to be coming back, but then also Arch Manning, who is the fan favorite. Everybody loves Arch Manning, and we knew he wasn't going anywhere. So Malik Murphy, is he good enough to probably be a starting quarterback at Texas? Yeah, probably. He's shown it.
He's shown it. Yeah.
He's shown it when Ewers has been hurt, but he was like, I'm kind of sandwiched here. It's not about the money. It's about playing here, playing for me, I should say. And we need to figure out a right fit. And he found that at Duke, and it was like Duke, Baylor, a couple other places that were potential landing spots, but he wasted no time. And he found a spot. Manny Diaz for a new head coach at Duke. He found him, and he's like, this is our quarterback. And he's got him for 3 years now. Yeah. And he's a really, really, he has a great size, Jay.
I've seen him.
He's legit.
I mean, my man is 6'4".
He is legit.
6'5", 230, has a hose for an arm. He's shown this year that when he had to step in for Quinn Ewers, that he can play at a high level.
6'5", 232.
Yeah, and he can run.
And he's a redshirt freshman. He can run.
And
that's
he
a
can
big
run.
boy.
Yeah,
listen, he is fun to watch.
He is gonna be. And the good thing I think about his choice is he's there with a new coach, so you're kind of married together, and you're off the beaten path. but also he's thinking about his future as well. Having that your last, I guess, well, you're going to get your degree from Duke. You're going to have access to all those alumni. And then also you can really kind of come in right behind Riley Leonard and kind of continue along that RPO, superior athlete. And what Manny Diaz needs is a quarterback like that, because you're not going to be able to have overabundance of talent at the skill position, spots. Now you got the ultimate equalizer, and he actually can play quarterback.
And that's my thing, is from a program standpoint as well. You're Duke. I mean, think about it. You're Duke. You found you found a great head coach in Mike Elko a couple years ago, where you extended him. You thought he was secure. A&M then fires Jimbo, pays him all that money, and then all right, they're going to swoop into our school. They take their head coach. Elko leaves to A&M, and it's like, well, crap. We were making our way towards that top of the ACC, and now we have players opting out of bowl games, tons of players transferring, our staff's changing. Quarterback immediately leaves to go to Notre Dame. What's next? You find Manny Diaz, who had the best defense in the country at Penn State, or one of the best defenses in the country at Penn State, who immediately finds a 3-year quarterback for longevity and stability concerns. And now it's like, all right, now you can build something to where the ACC maybe isn't this powerhouse necessarily. Clemson had a down year, but it's like you don't feel like you've dropped maybe as far as you could have with some of the additions that like places like Duke has made in the ACC conference. In the Big Ten, if Duke was in the Big Ten, you probably feel a little bit different about it, or Duke was in the SEC, you feel probably quite a bit different about it. But it's like, all right, are we better than Virginia? Probably. Are we better than Virginia Tech, who's going to probably make some strides next year with their quarterback, as we saw in the game yesterday against Tulane? There's a chance. Like, you are going to be able to compete in your division in the ACC to see whether or not maybe you can strike lightning or lightning strikes and you find yourself in an ACC title game.
Well, I mean, Duke already beat Clemson.
Yeah.
So that is already there. Plus, Manny Diaz has had success, even though
coached in the ACC.
He's coached in the ACC, and he was actually a decent coach at the University of Miami. I think there were some other things that kind of held him back, right? And it wasn't. And then when Cristobal came available, it's
a no-brainer.
It's no-brainer. So Duke is in a really good situation. Malik Murphy made a really good informative decision.
Yeah.
Riley Leonard made a really good decision. Van Dyke, that left from Miami to go to Wisconsin, made a really good decision. And considering that he can go there and really throw the rock, and then obviously that's what Wisconsin's trying to do in a big time conference. There's guys that made really good decisions, made quick, informative decisions, and then you got some guys just left out there. I would say they're stuck on stupid, man. I don't know what Cam Ward's thinking about.
Yeah, we talked about it in the first one, where it's, to me at least, it's where Washington State doesn't have a home anymore. They're going to be playing in the Mountain West. He left Incarnate Word to go to Washington State to play in a Power 5 conference, and now his team's going back down to a Group of 5 conference. So. But that's one of those things where he should have made a quicker decision. If he had all these suitors and that's what he wanted to do, he should have made that decision a lot quicker to go to a Power 5 school. But he sat there, waited, tried to bide his time, and now it's biting him in the butt, where it's like, okay, now where are you going to go? Like, you had a good year at Washington State, but was it good enough for anybody to pay you as much as maybe you want, or to bring you in as that guy?
This is what's fascinating to me before we get to break and we get to the crossover with Austin. Look at the Big Ten Conference. Since Nebraska's in the Big Ten, so many teams and programs reloading at quarterback. Obviously, Oregon, Washington got theirs. Will Rogers knew from the get-go, hey, I'm going to Washington, right? Maryland gets MJ Morris to secede.
That's a good
Talia, who
pretty
now,
much just a
now
replica.
Talia might move into another school. There's thoughts of he's exploring options at other universities. To like even Miami's been in conversations there. Right. So you're seeing so many of these Big Ten universities reload. And it reminds me of the arms race of like the AFC West a few years ago.
Yeah.
With the Chiefs, and then the Raiders got you saw like the Chargers get Khalil Mack, and they re-signed Derwin James, and they're trying to get all these weapons. And then the Raiders signed Devontae Adams. Like that's what this reminds me of in the Big Ten right now, because everybody's trying to beef up specifically at the quarterback position, because they realize how valuable the quarterback is in college football in today's game. But then what's coming, and everybody's trying to avoid being the bottom feeder or the middle of the pack team now, because that's not going to be good enough. That's not going to be good enough in the new Big Ten Conference.
And if you get a quarterback that can be, I guess the best case is dynamic, but be consistent, and you play good defense, you can go a long way. I mean, when you look at how Iowa has manufactured 10 wins, if you're coming in as a new Big Ten, let's call them enrollee, you definitely have to have the quarterback position. And also, you got to think it's easier to attract quarterbacks now for Oregon and Washington, based on Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. So now you're almost 2 steps ahead of USC.
Yeah.
So where you were in the Pac-12, you always were fighting. This is a USC conference, even though they hadn't been winning. When you think of Pac-12, you always think of USC just because of their tradition. They're coming in the Big Ten. Now you're ranked higher than them because of your overall team. And then better yet, you have your quarterback position more solidified than them. Then when you look at the whole landscape of the Big Ten, quarterback position, it really hasn't changed. So if you think even say Talia either leaves to the NFL or goes down to Miami, and I can see that really happening because of his brother being the same and with the Dolphins. When you think of Oregon and Washington, and let's assume McCarthy goes to the pros, who is it? Drew Allen? That's it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who would be the quarterback that you would think, besides the two that I'm, Will Rogers and Dylan Gabriel, that's better or as good?
How many Big Ten teams are returning a quarterback?
Well, Drew Aller's the probably the biggest.
That's what I'm thinking.
Drew Aller. There's Cade McNamara at Iowa, which you don't feel good. I mean, do you
even count that as returning? He played like 2 games,
right? Well, he's coming back.
He's been there.
Yeah.
Michigan State doesn't have a quarterback. Minnesota has a guy that's coming from FCS.
Yeah, FCS.
And then Wisconsin's got Van Dyke, but I would probably say Gabriel and Will Rogers are more established, right? Especially Dylan Gabriel, right? Who?
Dang.
Illinois? No. Purdue? Hudson Card?
No. Is he coming back?
Well, I'm just saying no. So, I mean, there's nobody.
Yeah.
So when you think of, if you want to make a splash in the new conference, in the Big Ten Conference, this is the time. Even Ohio State.
Yeah. Down at the quarterback position.
Because there's a quarterback, was it Devin Brown?
Devin Brown. Where's number 99?
He wears 33.
33.
It's weird.
Which is that weird. Before we go to break, that's on Ryan Day. You cannot be in my quarterback room wearing 33.
There it is.
What do you look like? You look like what? I mean,
a running back.
Yeah, or a receiver.
There was I don't remember. There was a team that had their quarterback was a tight end. He was wearing 99 or something like that.
Okay, so Jay, you and I have had the conversation of like Lincoln Riley now, right? And I guess before we dive into this, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification right here on the Happy Hour.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
So USC, right? They beat Louisville last night.
Yep.
45-20 or 42-28. Miller Moss comes in 6 tutties, 1 interception.
Right off the bench.
Yeah.
Too.
Third string guy.
Yeah.
Now, we talked about the desperation element. If you're USC, does last night at all change anything about the conversations around Lincoln Riley?
Oh, no. I mean, it maybe softens it for until New Year's.
Yeah.
The offense is going to be always, that's great. That's what you can do. You can call plays and take it. Louisville's defense was fool's gold anyway. But you put up 42 points. And it's commendable to get a guy ready that hadn't played all year. Right. And big ups to Caleb Williams. He was there cheering him on. Not sure why
he wasn't wearing his jersey.
I don't know why around the neck. I mean, that's whatever.
It's a fashion statement.
But at the end of the day,
you wouldn't understand.
But at the end of the day, the defense, I don't know how they're going to survive in the Big Ten.
They're not.
I mean, I'm just saying, when you look at their defense, if you're not lining up in 12, 13 personnel, I would just go big unit and just run the ball just down the field all game long.
I mean, they get their tails kicked by Utah, and that's a Big Ten light school.
Right.
So if you go up against I know Wisconsin's not the same Wisconsin, but if you go in Iowa, who's just looking to run the ball, you go up against a Michigan who's just looking to run the ball.
Would be a great
Jonathan
one,
Smith is going to come in and try to pound.
Hey,
you're in trouble.
Hey, I'm excited for Jonathan Smith.
I know. But are you let me ask you this, Nick, before we go to break.
Here we go.
Are you more excited for Jonathan Smith or Marcus Freeman?
Well, Marcus Freeman's not coming into the Big Ten Conference.
I'm just saying in general.
I've asked him this question multiple times.
Oh,
he never gives a straight answer.
No,
I mean, that's like pulling apart. That's like pulling
it's
apart.
like when you ask your parents, "Can I go spend the night over at my cousin's house?" And they don't give you an answer. Then they just say, "Oh, go ask your mom. Go ask your dad."
Yeah,
and just back.
Go ask somebody else. I don't have an answer. I would say potentially Jonathan Smith.
It's Marcus Freeman. Don't let him.
It is.
You.
It's the way you get giddy about Marcus Freeman. It's ridiculous.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile.
Yeah, see,
he's fun.
You just
it's cool. It's cool.
He's got a man crush.
Look
It's okay.
I mean, look at me right now.
Look at it,
dude.
I mean, we all, you know what? Our whole life goal is for people to look at us the way Nick Sainert would look at Marcus.
When somebody mentions my name, I want my wife to react the way Nick reacts when somebody mentions Marcus Freeman.
I don't know what it is.
Me neither. We're
I
trying
don't know
to
what
figure
it
it
is.
out.
It was something about I was watching Cincinnati when he was the defensive coordinator there, and then there was a way that he got the defensive coordinator position at Notre Dame, and then it was like then he moves into the head coaching role. Tommy Rees for one season was like, yeah, I'm going to stick around. I'm with Marcus, and then he dips, goes to Alabama. The way the players, the way the university reacted when it was Marcus Freeman, there's something about it.
Nick saw Marcus
Freeman.
You can
rally around him.
So are you a Notre Dame
closet? Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Is that because you went to Pius X?
I got a hoodie. No. It has nothing to do with the whole like religion side of it.
He has a Notre Dame.
But that is true though, right? Because there's
a lot of Notre Dame fans.
There's a lot of Notre Dame alumni from Lincoln that their grandkids and kids go to Pius X. That's the only reason I asked.
Nick,
like I know there's a lot of Notre Dame fans at Pius. That's not why.
When Marcus Freeman
I don't cheer for them on a regular basis, but I'm like, you know what? If a Notre Dame's game's on,
they'll watch it.
Hey, if Nebraska had a running back like Audric Estime, things would have been okay.
When Marcus Freeman became Catholic, was that your sign that it was like, it's okay, I can like him? Yeah, he did.
That's when he started winning games. He lost to Marshall, and then he became Catholic, and he's like, yeah, we're back.
Hold on.
Yeah?
How does that happen?
Touchdown Jesus said, if you're not Catholic, you're not going to win.
He had to be already wanting to be Catholic.
Well, there's a process.
Nah, I think it's in his contract.
There is a process.
Okay.
So it takes a
so
time.
He finally got over that. So
yes.
was that weighing him down when he was making bad coaching decisions against Marshall?
Hey, they lost against Marshall.
It was the
he
weight
came
of
back out, and he's like, you know what? I'm Catholic now. We're back.
It was the weight of
Is that
touchdown
what he
Jesus
said?
on his
No, he did not
back.
say it, but
how did
won.
you find out that he officially became Catholic?
It was there's articles about it.
It's that he converted to Catholicism.
Yeah.
Man. And that's when it was okay for Nick to like him.
No,
that's when it became okay.
That was it.
That was when it became okay.
No, it is not. No,
that was it.
That's not it at all. That's not it at all. But hey, you know what? Notre Dame. They got a quarterback in the portal, Riley Leonard. The typical Notre Dame quarterback. Falls right in line with like the Jack Cones of the world.
Did you like
Don't compare
Sam Hartman?
Riley Leonard to Jack?
I did.
I
liked Sam Hartman because I was watching that.
We need to go to break.
I watched that QB1 documentary on Netflix when he was at that high school. He left his successful high school to go help an old coach who was a family friend of theirs start a new high school. And they were bad his first year. Took him to the championship the next year. Anyway, let's get to break.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
New year, new career. The new year is just around the corner. Why not start it off strong with a new career? General Excavating is looking for qualified underground utility project managers. Check out our website, generalexcavating.com, or call 402-467-1627 for more information. Happy holidays from General Excavating.
This is Jeff Essing, owner of Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping and host of Fitness Fanatics. Over the years, we've helped countless people gain strength, lose fat, build confidence, and change their life. And it all starts with the Farrell's 10-Week Challenge. Now is the best time to sign up with the new year right around the corner. You can enroll for the January 10-Week Challenge for only $299. That's 10 weeks of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching. Head to fxblincoln.com for more information on how to enroll. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
So I switched my insurance to State Farm, and get this. I talked to an actual State Farm agent who lives in my actual town. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town gave me actual help with the coverage I needed. And get this. My actual agent in my actual town who gave me actual help actually knows my name. And get this. They actually say it's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Kreekak, at 402-474-1173.
Ready to make this season unforgettable? Celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union's low-rate debt consolidation loan. Combine all those bills into one affordable monthly payment with quick access to funds. Imagine all the extra cash for holiday shopping sprees, festive parties, or that well-deserved vacation. Stop by any of their branches or visit libertyfirstcu.com to find out more about their low-rate debt consolidation loan. Make this holiday season one to remember and celebrate with Liberty First Credit Union, banking with purpose.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
If your car has sent you to the sidelines, Eustace Body Shop can help. With Gold Class certified technicians, OEM parts, and free loaner cars, Eustace Body Shop is your best choice this Husker season. And with 6 locations across central and eastern Nebraska, we've got you covered. Whether you're rooting at home or you're headed to Memorial Stadium. Get a free online quote at EustaceBodyShop.com and let's get you back in the game.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I vomited last night.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
I literally vomited. I threw up.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour. 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Thanks to Jay for hanging out there for a couple minutes, talking transfer portal. Like, what in the world is Cam Ward waiting on? What is Will Howard waiting on? Nobody knows. Maybe more money. Money's not coming. Nobody's desperate. Everybody, here's the thing. Here's the way I look at it with college football programs. We're joined by Austin, by the way.
Hey, guys.
Is like, right at the start, they think the situation is way worse than it actually is. They come a couple days, couple weeks removed from the end of the season, and they're like, you know what? Maybe it's not as bad as we think it is. Maybe we don't have to pay 2.5 for a guy. Maybe we can pay just $800,000 and be just fine.
We look at it like free agency, right? I mean, it's not true free agency, but at the same time, what do we see? You know, obviously this is a bad offseason for the MLB comparison, but NBA free agency, we see a rush at the beginning. You've targeted your guy for a month or two. You're ready to get him, you bring him in. So you're willing to pay a little bit more to make sure he's yours. And then things slow down.
Yeah.
And then there's a dead period. And then you get some of those value signings of guys like, oh, why did he take so long? What, was there something behind the scenes? Was he just not ready to make a decision? What was it? So I think we had a bit of the rush, a week and a half or so ago, like right before signing day, pretty much. I think we're in a little bit of that quiet time now as guys reassess the market, reassess their options. Schools do as well. And then, classes are starting in 2.5, 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
So I say we give it till, after the new year, maybe I think the 2nd is when the window closes, the 2nd or the 3rd. I think by that weekend, we start getting some more names rolling into actual schools.
Do we have Stricky?
We do. He was wondering what we were talking about. So I was telling him it was a transfer quarterback. So
Hi, Stricky.
Hey, Stricky, what's up, man?
Stricky don't like.
Oh, he's got the headphones. He's got to get
the
the
ready.
headphones.
Hi, Stricky.
Surprise.
Hey, what's up, Stricky?
Gotcha.
Man, y'all butting into me and Rico's conversation, man. Me and Rico had a conversation, and Nick Sainert had to blabber, 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 and open his mouth.
I just wanted to see you, Stricky. You're not here in Lincoln.
I didn't know if I was relevant to the quarterback discussion, but I think maybe Big Ten basketball would have been one that I had a little bit of more information about.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into that, right? Because Terrence Shannon suspended for, probably the rest of the year, and then some. Yeah, indefinitely for what is for being charged down in Kansas with rape that occurred at the Kansas-Illinois football game this fall.
Around, hopefully not after.
Yeah. Well, yeah, around. Thank you, Austin.
Around that time.
Around that time. But nonetheless,
but they did signify a date. They said September the 8th. So
yeah. So what does this mean for the? I don't want to say perception, because there's more to this than what's on the basketball court. But looking at on the floor, right? Illinois is a top 15 team, but a big reason why was because of Terrence Shannon Jr. And this is a guy that had an opportunity to go to the league last year. He was on his trajectory to go to the league this year. But now, in terms of big scale Big Ten conference conversation, what does this do to that?
But I think it actually hurts them a little bit. He's averaging over 20 points a game, 21, like almost 22 points a game. He's second in the Big Ten in scoring. So at this point, in the coaches poll, they're 9th ranked. In the AP, they're 11th. So they're teetering to breaking through, and right when Big Ten conference schedule is about to start, to have that loss. That I don't care what anybody says. That's one thing that's hardest to make up, is when you have a system that's built around a certain player, and that player exits the scene. Yes, you're going to have guys that are going to step up, but my gosh, it's tough to get around, 22 points a game, and knowing when you need a bucket, you got a guy that you can go to get it.
Well, it's not just 22 points. He's also the best creator on that team. He's got a great first step, electrifying athlete, and he came from a Texas Tech program where he had to defend. Brad Underwood doesn't let you get away with loafing on that end either. So not only is he their leading scorer, he's really the engine of that team with what he's able to do with the ball in his hands and on the defensive side. There's not a good ready-made replacement for Illinois right now. Coleman Hawkins is a guy that's gotten some preseason hype. He's a post, kind of a stretch 4.5 type of guy that I think is a good piece for them. I wouldn't be shocked to see his raw numbers go up, but I think his impact will lessen because he and Shannon together were quite the duo.
Yeah. It's easier to scheme, Nick, around one person as opposed to two and multiple. Like if you have a team that is a very balanced, multiple scoring type of team, they're just tough to scheme and defend, because you just don't know. You might have a CJ Wilcher come off the bench and go nuts, right? Whereas a team like them, that is their focal points. And when you lose one of them, just look at Phoenix right now, how it would be so much different without just KD and Book. And you're looking at now also a third element of that team, and he's gone. So, Bradley Beal. So
yeah. Well, you can even bring it back to a Nebraska scope, right? Where it's, think about in years past where teams would only have to worry about defending Terran Petaway, or would only have to worry about defending a James Palmer Jr. Where now this year, you're seeing it to where, okay, you have to worry about Bryce Williams. You have to worry about Rink Mass down low when he's healthy. You have to worry about maybe Josiah Alex rebounding ability. You have to worry about Keisei Tominaga, who was a Big Ten first team preseason list watch guy, whatever you want to call it. It's much more difficult to plan against a team when you're much more balanced. And I'm curious to see how Illinois responds, because they've also kind of had a couple down years to where it's like they've been good, but they haven't been able to get over the hump. This year was the first time in the last few years where it's like, okay, they've been able to pass some tests.
Mm-hmm.
They are a top 10 program. A big part of that was Terrence Shannon Jr., and now that big part is no longer with the team.
They weren't my preseason pick to win the conference. I still thought it was going to be Michigan State, but Illinois you knew was going to be a player. They've been kind of building to this under Brad Underwood, where you know they're good, you know they're talented, they're going to be tough, but there's just those one or two games that you had to raise your eyebrows at with them every year.
Yeah, every year.
You lost that one, you played poorly, and that one seems like that was a good matchup. What happened?
It's a home game against Iowa. It's a home game. They usually drop a home game to like Rutgers, or like it's something weird like that, to where it's like, okay, why can't you get over that hump?
And they've never been as balanced, right? Some years with like the Ayo Dosunmus and the Kofi Coburns, they were elite offensively with what those two guys were able to do. Sure. Other years they've been more stingy on the defensive end, where it's been hard to score on them, but they haven't had a Dosunmu. They haven't had a
Myers Leonard.
Sure. Throw him in that conversation.
What is your problem?
Stricky, we had a great time before the show, just sitting in back and naming random like mid 2010s NCAA tournament heroes. It was incredible. Like Shane Larkin came up, Peyton Siva, Trey Burke.
Shane Larkin was one. Shabazz Napier from UConn. Obviously, my guy Jimmer Fredette from BYU. He was electrifying.
Those like 4-5-ish years of UConn with Kemba and then Shabazz were the most fun I've had watching the NCAA tournament, because those two, just the smaller guards,
Ryan
just taking
Boatwright.
over. Boatwright. Oh, those
Ryan Boatwright.
Yeah, Boatwright's one of them. Yeah, he's definitely a small guard.
Hey,
but shout out to Rutgers right now, giving Miami everything they can handle.
Business.
Yeah.
Since you guys were talking about Rutgers, you guys were talking about them. I just thought about it. I mean, shoot, 14-0. They got -2, or well, now 6 yards rushing, and they're a long way going into the second half. But that's one of the things that Big Ten teams do. I mean, they'll get after you and stop you on the run. So
Hurricanes looking like a sprinkle.
Yeah. Before we get out of that's so stupid.
I hate you.
You're welcome.
Before we get out of here, we've gotten a text a couple of times throughout the show. Where is Blaze Cada?
On the bench.
It just doesn't feel like we're going to see Blaze anytime soon.
So to me, it could be that they're gonna try to preserve his because preserve his season. Because of the injury, now the rotations have been set. Now you understand what you've got with the ability to play Gary at the 4 and do a lot of different things. There's a lot of versatility that comes with that. Blaze Keita is pretty much a mid-range, good rebounder, take charges, not really even a big shot blocker. Just, he's just a guy that's going to be there. But at the end of the day, you don't really have much behind him except a young Joe. You know what I'm saying? Matar Joe. So I can understand the move. And listen, and on a sneaky way, it's very similar to possibly what's going on, with Ramel Lloyd Jr., right? It's just it's an unfortunate situation. You get injured, and then your rotations start getting set, and then you're starting to get guys that perform. It's tough to get back in and enter in, unless you're just doing something astronomical. Unless you're just, this is why Boogie can't really get on the court, because you can't defend. Like if there's some liability to your game and you're not able to provide something, and that's why I always took defense to heart, because I said this is the one thing that's going to get me on this doggone court, if nothing else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. My thing that I was talking to Nick about too, Strick, is that there's nothing that Blaze Cada does that you necessarily have to game plan for.
Yeah,
right? As big as he is, built like a brick wall. Like, you'd think that guy would be an elite shot blocker. His timing just isn't the best. He's pretty good positionally, but he's not explosive rebounding, not explosive to deter shots at the rim, and not the biggest offensive force. Doesn't have the biggest bag. So you can't use him as a lob threat either, really, on offense. So his biggest value is that he's just another body to throw out on the court, because you need depth in the post to get through Big Ten games. But I think that there are other guys who do things better than Blaise Keita does.
Yeah, and then that's why you don't really bring him out until you really would need him. And I don't know what the limit is in college for basketball. I mean, obviously we know it's football 4 games. What is it in basketball? Does anybody know?
I think it's just if you play one game. I don't think you can play at all.
I think
there's a number to
it's
it.
a percentage of
Is
the
it?
game.
Yeah,
I think it's a percentage.
Well, because remember last year after Sam Griesel was hurt for a little bit, they talked to Ramel and he said that he wanted to preserve his red shirt, which is why he didn't go in at all.
I'm pretty sure. I think there is a percentage of games that you either suit up or you check into. But nonetheless, Stricky, it's Thirsty Thursday, my man.
I know. I hate I'm not going to be able to be there. And listen, shout out to you guys. We'll talk more about this, but shout out to you guys. Be safe. We know the new year's coming up. We know you got plans with family and loved ones and friends and all that, but y'all be safe out there as well as it out here, because there's another story that Austin and I are going to probably get into.
Yeah.
Rico was right.
Rico, it's no games. It's just no games.
I know things sometimes.
There you go. Nice
Very-
job, Rico.
Very few
Yeah,
times.
boy, Rico.
But I
There
know
you go.
things.
So nonetheless, Austin, what's coming up on the show today?
Yeah, pretty much what Stricky said. Another Big Ten situation that happened last week, earlier this week. Unfortunate regarding Michigan State. We'll talk about that. Saw a tweet from Mina Kimes, who stood up for Tommy Frazier not winning the Heisman. So we're going to get into Tommy Frazier versus Ndamukong Suh. Who is the bigger Heisman snub? We'll get into today's and tomorrow's bowl games before we do our New Year's 6 preview tomorrow.
There it is.
And really curious to dive into the NFL playoff picture. A lot of games with a lot of implications in both the NFC and the AFC. So that's where we'll start here in just a minute.
People forget Mina Kimes, big Husker fan.
That's right. Once again, make sure you check out The Post for your New Year's Eve celebration. Live music, delicious food, refreshing drinks. You can search The Post, link in on Facebook to buy your tickets today. That's the drum.
It's
typing.
There it is. All right, let's
got
get out of
50
here.
seconds.
On the block, Strick and Austin coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Adios.
You're counting on your team to